The world had not always been this way. Once, rivers ran wild, flowers drank the warmth of the sun, and fire danced in every hearth. But that was before the frostfall, before the gods abandoned the earth, and winter claimed eternity. Now nothing grew. Ice choked the mountains, forests stood as pale skeletons, and oceans slumbered underneath frozen sheets. The sun itself had weathered into ash. Yet one spark remained, hidden in the ruins of a dying temple. A single ember glowed faintly, the last fragment of fire left in this world, and fate placed it in the hands of a wandering warrior. His name was Arden. A scarred blade hung at his back, his breath clouding in the endless cold. He carried the ember close to his chest, its warmth bleeding into him like a heartbeat. Legend spoke of it as salvation, but also as a curse. For where there is fire, the frost will always hunt it, and somewhere in the frozen wastes, the frostbound queen stirred, her power spreading like veins of ice through the earth. The ember's flicker drew her gaze, and in that moment, destiny began to weave the threads of tragedy. Arden trudged through the ruins of an abandoned village. Doors hung from their hinges, homes caved under snow, and silence ruled where laughter once had lived. But whispers lingered in the broken walls and empty hearths. He heard them, tales of a queen who walked beneath the moonlight, her eyes as cold as glaciers, her touch sealing men into statues of ice. The villagers had fled long ago, leaving only warnings scrawled into the wood and stone. Beware the frostbound queen. Beware, Seris. Arden felt the ember throb in his chest at that name, a pulse of heat against the endless cold. The ember seemed to know her, as if fire remembered frost. And from the edge of the ruins, he saw her. A woman in flowing white, hair silver as the moon, stood alone beneath the falling snow. Her gaze met his, piercing, distant, yet strangely fragile. She did not speak. She only turned, vanishing into the white fog, and Arden followed. The forest swallowed him whole. Snow fell thicker here. The world muted, as if sound itself had frozen. And there she was again, standing in a clearing, pale light haloing her figure. "Why do you carry it?" she asked, at last, her voice like a wind across glass. Arden's hand moved instinctively to the ember at his chest. "Because it's all that remains." Her eyes narrowed, not in anger, but sorrow. "You do not understand. The ember calls to me, and to the frost. Carry it too long, and death will follow you." He stepped closer, snow crunching beneath his boots. "And why do you not take it from me?" Her lips parted, but she looked away. "Because I cannot. The ember burns me, yet I am bound to it, just as I am bound to this cursed land." Their eyes met again, and for a heartbeat, the silence between them was heavier than the snow itself. The stillness shattered. From the tree line, dark shapes emerged, beasts of frost, their bodies sculpted from ice, eyes glowing faintly blue. Seris's gaze hardened. "They have come for the ember." Arden drew his sword, steel gleaming in the moonlight. The ember's warmth surged through his veins, fire clashing against frost. The beast lunged. Arden swung his blade, cutting through the ice. Shards scattered like broken glass. But more came. Seris lifted her hand, and frost exploded outward, spears of ice impaling two creatures at once. She moved with terrifying grace, beauty laced with destruction. Together they fought, fire and frost, side by side. When the last beast fell, silence reclaimed the clearing. Arden's breath came heavy, frost steaming from his lips. Seris's hand trembled faintly, though her expression remained cold. "You should not stay," she said. "Every moment you carry the ember, it pulls you closer to ruin." And yet Arden could not look away from her. That night, they found shelter in a ruined chapel. Arden built a small flame from the ember, its glow pushing back the shadows. Seris sat across from him, face lit by a flickering firelight. For the first time, she looked less like a queen and more like a woman. "The frost does not mind to command," she whispered. "It commands me. I was once like you, mortal, warm, alive. But when the frostfall came, I was chosen, or cursed, to bear its heart. Now I am its vessel." Her hands trembled as she touched the floor. Ice spread quickly from her fingertips, crawling across the stone. She pulled back, quickly ashamed. "If the ember survives, it can end my curse, but it will also end me. Do you understand?" Arden stared at her, the firelight catching in his eyes. "Then I will find another way. I will not see you sacrificed." Her gaze softened, conflicted. "You are a fool, Arden, and yet you are the first warmth I have felt in centuries." The silence between them burned brighter than the flame itself. Guided by whispers of old legends, Arden and Seris journeyed to the Temple of Frost, the birthplace of her curse. The temple loomed like a glacier carved into jagged spires, its halls lined with frozen statues of those who had dared defy winter. Their faces still screamed in silence. The ember pulsed violently as they entered, fire resisting frost. Shadows twisted along the walls, voices hissing with the echo of gods long dead. At the altar's heart, Seris collapsed to her knees. Her reflection shimmered in the ice, but it was not her. It was the frostbound queen, cruel and merciless, eyes glowing like frozen suns. The voice that came from the reflection chilled Arden's blood. "You cannot save her. She is mine." The ice cracked. Splitting open from the altar rose a colossal figure, the wrath of winter, forged from Seris's curse itself. It towered over them, skeletal wings of frost unfolding with a scream that shattered stone. Arden gripped his sword, the ember blazing in his chest. Seris staggered back, clutching her heart as if torn in two. "You cannot fight it," she gasped. "It is me. It is everything I was cursed to become." "Then I will fight fate itself," Arden snarled. He charged, blade colliding with ice, sparks and frost exploding in blinding flashes. The battle raged beneath the broken ceiling, moonlight pouring down like silver fire. The wrath struck with claws of ice, each blow shaking the temple. Arden dodged and countered, his sword wreathed in ember flame, yet frost ate at his skin, numbing his limbs. Seris screamed, torn between herself and the curse. Her power lashed out wildly, freezing walls, shattering statues. Arden's blade sank deep into the wrath's chest, but the monster only laughed, shards of ice knitting back together. "Only her death will end this," it hissed. Arden turned to Seris, her eyes brimming with tears, frost spilling from them like crystal streams. "I can end it," she whispered, "but it will take me with it." He shook his head violently. "No, there must be another way." Her smile was faint and sorrowful. "Then let this be my choice, not my curse." Before he could stop her, Seris pressed her hand to his chest. The ember flared, merging with her frost. Fire and ice twisted together, roaring like a storm. She turned to the wrath, her body glowing both warm and cold, and with a final cry, she hurled herself into its heart. Light erupted, fire and frost colliding, tearing the temple apart. When the light faded, the temple lay in ruins. The wrath was gone. Arden stumbled to his knees, clutching at the shattered stones. And there she was, laying still among the frost. Seris's form glowed faintly, fading with each breath. He rushed to her, cradling her in his arms. "You freed me," she whispered. "For that I am grateful." Tears froze on Arden's cheeks. "Stay with me, please." Her hand brushed his face, fragile as snow. "Even when I am gone, every flame you kindle, every hearth you light, I will be there, in warmth, in memory." Her eyes closed. The last breath escaped her lips, and she was gone. Arden sat in silence, the ember flickering in his hands. No longer a curse, but a gift. The snows never stopped. The world was still cold, still broken. But in Arden's hand, the ember glowed brighter than before. He wandered from village to village, kindling small flames, giving warmth to those who had long forgotten its touch. They began to call him the Firebearer, but in quiet moments, when he sat beside a flickering flame, he felt her presence, a whisper in the warmth, a touch in the glow. Seris was gone, yet not. She lived in the fire, in the hearts he rekindled, in the love he refused to let die. And though winter reigned eternal, the ember would burn, promised, a memory, a last ember of hope. And now the final kiss has been placed, or the final scar. If this story touched something inside you, let it linger and leave your echo below. Subscribe to Ender's Emporium for more stories where love burns, binds, or breaks. Until next time, may your dreams be strange and full of stars.